Welcome to Venture Deep Dives. I'm your host, Peter McEwen. Today, I'm highlighting Alumni Ventures' deep dive into name, image, and likeness in college athletics, or NIL, presented by Lakeshore Ventures Managing Partner Justin Strausbaugh. Now, Justin isn't only an experienced entrepreneur and investor, but a former college and professional golfer. His experience as a college athlete gives him unique insight into an emerging market with incredible potential. In 2021, the Supreme Court ruled that the NCAA cannot limit education-related benefits to NCAA athletes. This has opened the door to college athletes being compensated for creating content, licensing their brands, and monetizing their social media presence. The result is the creation of entirely new markets in college athletics, serving fans, athletes, universities, and brands. As these stakeholders navigate this new reality, this is not just for athletes and the fans. There is an unprecedented opening for companies and entrepreneurs to serve these markets. Thanks for listening, and please enjoy Justin's in-depth exploration of a topic that is near and dear to his heart.
Hi everyone, my name is Justin Strausbaugh. I'm the managing partner of Lakeshore Ventures, our University of Chicago fund here at Alumni Ventures. Excited to talk to you about a topic today that is near and dear to my heart as a former college athlete, and that topic is name, image, and likeness in college athletics. And more specifically, it is giving college athletes the ability to sell that name, image, and likeness in the same way that professional athletes do. The regulations changed about a year ago, and that has opened up a potential new space for investment. And so we've started to explore that particular area. And so we'll spend the next 10 minutes or so telling you about what we're seeing and what the potential future could hold. So the plan for today is to give you an overview of this emerging market and then dive into some of the factors that could drive success of this emerging space, and also take some time to highlight a few companies making traction in this name, image, likeness space, as we're calling it. Universities and the NCAA have long been profiting from the personal brands their student athletes develop. From ticket sales to licensing to media and advertising, college sports are roughly an $18 billion industry. Many have argued that student athletes should be compensated for the value that they bring to a university beyond just an education. This contentious debate was finally put to an end roughly last year about this time in June of 2021, when the Supreme Court and subsequently the NCAA ruled to permit student athletes to be compensated for their name, image, and likeness. This new legislation has made room for a new sector of this industry to emerge. Athletes who once could be credited for bringing in millions of dollars to their respective university are now able to cash in. They're doing so through sponsored social media posts, paid autographs, licensing deals, selling old jerseys, and of course the list goes on and on. Today we'll be talking about how a new market is emerging to support the athletes, universities, booster clubs, and brands in this new era. While this regulation has been long awaited by many, the industry is simply not prepared. The opportunity for brands, universities, students, and fans are now seemingly endless, but so are the challenges. Fans are hungry for access and exposure to their favorite college players, especially as the whole world has gotten comfortable following celebrities and brands online. And it's not just the most popular current celebs and athletes. For example, Cameo, a startup that connects celebrities and athletes directly to fans, has shown that there's a long tail of talent that people are willing to pay to access. You'll see everything from superstar athletes to B-list 15-minute of fame type personalities. Users of the website can purchase video shout-outs to celebrate birthdays, holidays, weddings, and more. It's not hard to imagine this kind of demand and interest for local college teams too. Additionally, their brands are looking for athletes to wear their products, use their services, attend conferences, post on social media, film commercials, etc. For example, when Mercedes-Benz recently launched their new electric vehicle, the EQS, last year, they looked to student athletes to pose with the car and post about it on social media. Despite clearly demonstrating a desire to partner with athletes even in the first few months of the NIL era, with only 450,000 college athletes, it can be difficult for brands to source and manage talent, especially given the newness of these regulations. While the exact structure is still unfolding, it's clear that universities want and need to play a role in this new market. Deals are still being done at the university level, think team uniforms like Under Armour, Nike, Adidas, etc. Universities are responsible for ensuring student-level deals are not in conflict with their pre-existing deals. Would Under Armour be okay with one of their athletes posting on social media about their love for a competitor? Probably not. The most excited stakeholder group, as you can imagine, are the student athletes. whom are eager to deliver and profit from the desire of their fans and brands to get connected. However, they do not have the skill sets to manage and maximize the opportunity that NIL represents for them. Athletes need help finding buyers, sourcing brand deals, understanding contracts, negotiating contracts, building their personal brand, navigating tax payments. Don't forget, these are busy student athletes whose schedules are filled with class, practice, travel, and games. This new legislation has created the perfect storm of ample opportunity and an unmet need. At Alumni Ventures, we're looking for a handful of success factors when evaluating companies in this space. First, companies must be prepared to adapt to the evolving state regulations on NIL. The Supreme Court did rule that it's illegal to prevent athletes from profiting off their NIL, and the NCAA created a regulation to allow it. However, the exact nuances are to be governed on a state-by-state basis. While many states have established NIL laws, many are still waiting to see how this new market unfolds before enacting legislation. As such, it will be important that founders are in tune with these evolving dynamics. And then in addition, the TAM for the NIL includes both small and large brands. The Nikes and the Mercedes-Benzes of the world are important, but so are the thousands of small businesses in the college towns that are eager to support their local celebrities. Former athletes who are still heroes of their college town now have additional benefits to be claimed aside from drinking free at the local bar or getting a free meal. In particular, we're looking for companies that empower athletes to capitalize on the creator economy and build a following that brands will pay to tap into. Also, we're looking for evidence of democratization of this market through facilitation of deals in smaller markets at scale and not just the large markets with a few top college athletes. Initial traction from the first year of the NIL industry will also be important to track. That being said, we're staying away from platforms that are creating social media platforms just for athletes as well as talent agencies. And a few numbers here for you guys. Despite still emerging as an industry, the numbers behind NIL are impressive. According to Statista, the NCAA is an $18.9 billion industry. Further, 58% of retailers are intimidated by the rules and regulations of the NIL and will need help to break in. And they're showing a willingness to get into this industry. In the 6 months between signing his letter of intent to play football at Alabama and showing up to campus for the season, incoming quarterback Bryce Young made $1 million off of his name, image, and likeness. He represents only one of 460 college athletes. So as you can see, plenty of interest and demand here. So a couple of things that we'll be looking at to determine whether we think this space is a hit or a miss. On the hit side, looking for brands, both large and small, to see the value of college athletes as spokespeople in terms of traction. Athletes proving out that they need professional support to build their personal brand or business on their own, although probably not hard to imagine that a 17 or 18-year-old would need some support in terms of building their personal brand and building a business. And then in addition, looking for evidence and a track record of deal throughput with a wide range of college athletes. As mentioned before, not just large market, a few athletes, but a wide market, lots of transactions taking place, and evidence of widespread interest. Then on the miss side, we feel that if the NCAA reverts back and changes the regulations again due to negative repercussions on recruiting, athlete mental health, or team dynamics, obviously that would be a significant setback. Another thing we'll look for is, if brands are not leaning in and expanding their influence and marketing budgets to include college athletes. And then another one which would be pretty harmful, we believe, is if states go against the federal guidelines and pass bills that restrict athletes' ability to profit on their NIL. And then we thought it'd be interesting also to talk a little bit about some of the companies we're seeing in this space. So I'll go through three, and then I'll go through another three on the next slide. This space is fairly immature, but there's a lot of companies popping up to kind of serve different parts of this emerging space. So the first one is NoCap. NoCap is a kind of a platform/marketplace that provides both athletes and brands with the tools necessary to interact, negotiate, and transact compliantly, essentially empowering athletes to profit on NIL. It also allows athletes to keep more of their sponsorship dollars, and brands pay as little as 15% to be on the platform. Still an early stage company, they've raised about $2.5 million last year. I would characterize NoCap as empowering the individual athlete to do it themselves. In contrast, you have Influencer, which is a software platform that supports athletes in brand building through a collaboration with their university so that the communications are in line with the regulations and the university's own brand image. The solution is about universities supporting their athletes in growing their NIL presence and making it a two-way conversation, giving university a decent level of oversight, and in effect tacking this on to other programs they have for student athletes and just making it easier for student athletes as they come into school. Also a fairly early stage company, have raised a little less than $3 million in angel investments. And then a third one is Open Doors, which connects marketers with athletes to build social media campaigns. They've been successful in the professional sports space for about a decade, and now they're adding NIL to offer the same level of support to college athletes. It assists with deal sourcing, negotiations, execution, and payment processing. And then a few more here, companies to talk about. We have Mogul, which is also a marketplace for connecting brands and athletes for marketing opportunities, but has a strong focus on the smaller markets. Think about that long tail of 460,000 athletes and empowering them as well to make some potential money off of their NIL. Our understanding is that they may also add opportunities for athletes to sell their NFTs of their likeness going forward, but I think that's a bit TBD. And then also early stage, raised a seed round here earlier in 2022. Another company, Matchpoint, taking a bit of a different tact. They've built an algorithm for matching athletes and brands. You can think of it like a dating app for brands and athletes. Everyone makes a profile, and interested parties can connect, chat, and facilitate deals. And then the last company we'll talk about today is the Players Trunk, which is an online marketplace for selling used gear, collectibles, merchandise from current and former college athletes. And this allows fans to get that exact jersey or game day uniform, from their favorite player. This is just a couple of resources for you guys in terms of things that you can read up on. We'll send through the slide, and you'll be able to get to the links. And then in summary, a couple of points here to take away. The NIL marketplace is rapidly evolving and has the potential to be a large market, given the pent-up demand for athletes to profit from their name, image, and likeness. It's a new space, but not necessarily a new concept. However, we feel opportunities do exist for startups to create a marketplace for brands and athletes, manage contracts, payment facilitation, and even ensure regulation compliance. We'll certainly be keeping our eye on evolving regulations at the state level, small market adoption, and of course brand utilization to give evidence of traction. Thanks again for your time, and I look forward to engaging with you all in the future.